Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hook Intentions. So today's episode of reviewing of Zenkaiger is going to be two. It's going to be two of them. It's going to be episode 24 and episode 25. I kind of forgot to last week. I kept telling myself I was gonna, and then a bunch of things kept coming up that I had to do, and I just ran out of time. So we're going to do both today. Yeah, and then coming up this week also, I'm going to try my very best to get my Zenkaiger overall review done. My Dragon Knight video I was going to do. Trying to think what else. Dom Brothers, episode 1, that just got subtitled recently, so woohoo. And then, trying to think, I thought I had some other stuff. Anyway, a few other videos I had planned as well. But anyway, let's get to the episode today. So, 24, this is where, at the end of the episode last time, we had Vice with the Jock Revice thing, and he's in control of the body. Icky didn't come back out of it when they transformed. And this episode starts up saying it's been about a week or so, and that business is going down at the bathhouse because Vice is trying way too hard to be the mascot and bring people in, and everybody's basically either A, scared of him, or B, he ends up irritating them enough that they just leave. So we get a fun montage of him trying to do stuff. He's all dressed up like a geisha at one point, and just a bunch of goofy, silly, slapsticky shit that he usually does, I have to give credit to the writers. Although the voice actor is a piece of human trash, like we've already discussed, they've really made some gigantic strides in making Vice a really great, decent character, in my opinion. And I really enjoy him, especially the connection he has with Icky, them being one and the same and all that. So, trying to think of the stuff that happens here. What was the big deal? So the big part of the episode is that George is kidnapped by Oltega. He wants him to enhance the demon's driver because it's not listening to him, or it's like, oh, who are you, and blah blah blah, and you're not that strong. And Oltega creates another Giftarian, but Aguilera is not okay with that, which is interesting to see her all of a sudden not okay with it because he's been creating Giftarians for a while. So I don't know what the pull is yet. I wish it would have been a little more consistent with her feeling that way. I don't honestly understand why she thought she should even side with Oltega, knowing that he was willing to sacrifice her. But, whatever. We do also find out that the weekend leader is Masumi Karazaki, George's dad. He thought he was dead. He also very quickly figures out his dad's alive because he's like, oh, he must have fixed the Libera driver. He must have also done whatever it was with the some of the stamps and some other things, right? Like the rolling by stamp must have been him too. George very quickly figures that out, which I like about George, that he's intelligent, but he's also intelligent of the way like a detective almost, where he's really quick about picking up on stuff, and nothing really surprises him that much. Jocker Revice did in the rolling by stamp, but because he didn't create it, that was it. Also at the same time, Daiji's having trouble keeping Kagero back, and it's hinted at that Gifu is getting stronger because we keep seeing in every episode when they destroy a Giftarian, that power goes to Gifu and makes him stronger. So when he pulsates in his little rock tomb thing, it's making the different demons, spaz out. There is a point where Sakura and first Icky has this moment with Vice where he says, because he can't, Vice is really scared, he's like, what if we never get out? And then George even mentions that if you don't figure out a way soon, you might be trapped this way forever, and if Icky runs out of food then and is hungry and can't eat, then he'll die, and if he dies, you die, Vice. So they're really worried about that. And so he tells Vice, do you really trust me? Do you trust me? Do you know, you understand that, our bond, blah, blah, blah. And Vice finally, laments and is like, you know what? I do trust you. I'm sorry that I took your body for a joyride. I was just trying to waste time until I figured out what to do, and I got carried away. And I like that because I feel like somebody like Momotaro's or other comedic characters would not have apologized for being goofy, but here Vice did a little bit. I like that. So he uses the stamp on himself. It flips things around, makes it Icky. Icky activates the rolling by stamp, and he's in more control of it this time instead of just Vice. We get this badass scene with him and Sakura, who's transformed into Kamen Rider Jean, kicking the shit out of Oltega in Demon's form. Oh my gosh. He's been powerhousing through them recently, but they finally get the upper hand on him and kick his ass for a little bit. So it pisses him off. He runs away like a little dog with his tail between his legs like normal. They beat the Giftarian as well. And two things happen important at the end of the episode. One, when Iggy comes out of his transformation, he notices that him and Vice are kind of combined into one body somehow. It's kind of like, it was a similar effect, kind of like when in Deno, whenever the Taros would take over Deno himself, I can't remember his name, I'm such an ass, where he'd have like, highlights in his hair or something to differentiate him, similar thing. So that happens, and then also, Olteka gets back to their little, hideaway base thing, and the demon in the driver says, finally gives his name, says his name is Vale, and says that he's going home. And this is understanding, nobody knows what's going on here. Now, I had a theory before episode 25, and you may already know what happened, but that there's something going on with Genta Igarashi, the dad, and why he doesn't have a heart and what's going on there. Very important. So episode 24, I probably would give like a strong 9 out of 10, only because I'm not the happiest that all of a sudden Aguilar is like, oh, you're going to hurt people. It wasn't as bad as like in, if you've seen the second Venom movie, Let There Be Carnage, all of a sudden there's a character in that near the end that just all of a sudden is like, well, you shouldn't have to murder people. And it's like, that's what you and him do though, so... Anyway, so 25 starts up, and the demon in the driver is of course named Vale. That's within the demon's driver. George is confused and pissed that he's confused about how Vice and Icky are like combined right now and doesn't understand it. We also get a flashback of young George kind of giving himself some like motivation and saying goddamn as a little kid, which is kind of funny. He even had the same hairstyle and glasses. Silly. Lovecraft starts getting affected by Gifu. I have some notes here, so I keep looking down. And starts like, kind of smacking Sakura and stuff like that. Not a ton, but just a little bit. We start to get some backstory about the fire that happened at the bathhouse. They mentioned that there was a fire at the bathhouse. For one, this is the moment as a child that Icky met Vice for the first time, and they contracted for the first time. So that was really cool to see that, because it wasn't like let me use you to eat your family thing. He literally was like, he's like, hey buddy, if you contract with me, we'll live together in your body, and I'm going to try to help you survive this and help your family out. I think that's really cool that he's always kind of been like more morally, not gray, morally white, I guess, or just morally good, I guess. Even though he starts out in episode 1 like, I'm going to eat your mom. Bleh. It feels like it was like an act, almost, kind of. But big revelation in that. Genta has a demon named Vale. That is his demon. The reason it isn't her heart is he was the original person that they tried to like basically bond Gif with, and it gave him Vale, this other demon, right? Which I don't think is Gif. I think it's separate. And somehow, some way, something in the process of that or something got rid of his heart to do it. And so he at first was okay having Vale in him. Then he realized Vale was pure evil, and he wanted to start his own family and keep them safe. Well, Vale ends up taking him over. Vale, controlling Genta, set the fire at the bathhouse. And so either after that he does the whole heart removal thing or what, I don't know exactly. But somehow he gets Vale out of there. Or he goes dormant, whatever. We also have like a repaint of the demon's driver that is like kind of reddish and has a few other parts to it, but it's basically just the demon's driver, which makes me a little angry because it was a P Bandai driver, so screw you, Bandai. But another big revelation is the reason that Icky, Sakura, and Daiji can transform at all is because they have Gifu DNA within them. Being a spawn, their dad's demon being a spawn of Gifu, it was within him when he clearly met and got with the mom, and when they had babies, that became part of them as well. So that's a really interesting revelation. I think that really kind of like set the tone going forward. I was kind of worried what we were going to do for a primary villain going forward, because Gif's been nothing but a statue and like a looming threat, but that's it. Teika was interesting at one point, but now is just kind of, a little crybaby who runs away when he doesn't get what he wants. There's a goofy scene of a Giftarian in this one that like willingly is like, please sacrifice me, and it was like fine dying for it. It's weird. But Vale's transformation is awesome. So Genta walks up, they're like, Dad, what's going on? The driver, comes out, and he has the Kabuto, bottle, and he deal, and he holds up his hand, the little 5-finger thing, like kind of like Icky and the rest of them, sorta. transforms, and the suit's cool. It has like pants to it, like military looking pants. Looks like it's very pieced together, which I like. And he's a fucking menace. He teleports everywhere. It's like a horror movie the way they said it, the way he just keeps coming up at the Giftarian to destroy it. And it takes him like seconds. Literally seconds. He does these like lightning fast, like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, ore, punch thing, like completely decimates it in like barely any seconds. So yeah, that's the huge big revelation. And the other cool thing, too, is that Busan actually knew about this and was keeping it a secret to keep the kids safe. He's been one of Genta's very, very long-standing friends. I wouldn't even be surprised if he, was kind of his, Ichijo at the time, when maybe at one point he was running around as a Kamen Rider, until Veil started taking more control of him, or he started showing his true colors being evil. Yeah, and then the other big thing is we also see in the background, one of the scenes with the Weekend, that Masumi Karazaki, so George's dad, has another Demon's Driver being developed. I'm guessing that the Demon's Driver we've currently seen that Hiromi used and Oteka used was like a prototype. They never had the original, because I'm guessing it must have just absorbed into Genta's body or whatever. And so that's why it had the whole kind of the side effect of eating his body, because it couldn't contain the demon the right way. So I don't know if this new Demon's Driver variant that Weekend is making is going to take that part out entirely, and then Hiromi will be their new rider. I'm guessing there'll be some disconnect with Sakura, and then they'll end up having Hiromi be their rider. I don't know. Hoping he comes back. I'm just making things up at this point because I love Hiromi. But yeah, this episode was an absolute stellar 10 out of 10. The music, the fight choreography, the acting, the dialogue, the story, every bit of it was fantastic. And I'm really excited that we are literally 25 for 25 episodes in, and I have not been bored once. I've not been let down once. I've not been not at all entertained once. This is literally probably one of the best rider shows we've gotten. That's definitely better, in my opinion, than most of the Reiwa stuff we've gotten, so Saber and 01. And that's saying something, because I love 01. But almost rivals, I think, some of the best of the Heisei era, both, Phase 1 and Phase 2. I've not seen enough Showa to say that it could rival that, but it's hard to compare the two when there's such a wide, gap in effects and stuff like that. So, but this is slowly becoming one of my favorite seasons. I think it's probably already pushing its way into my top 10, for sure. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of today's episodes. I'm sorry to do two at once, just kind of a concept I came up with because I wanted to get a video on both done. I didn't want to skip one and forget about it or whatever. So I'm going to try my best to get out as many videos this week as I possibly can. If I don't, I'm very sorry. We're going to be moving soon, like this weekend coming at the time of recording this. So it will be getting all settled there and getting our stuff put away and blah blah blah. So it'll be a little bit before I have internet set up and everything all good to record again. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought of episode 24 and 25. What do you think about the whole revelation about Genta Igarashi, with him being the Veil's what's it called, counterpart or vessel, whatever. The revelations about Vice, the stuff about Masumi Karazaki. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys love it, hate it, in the middle? Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, disliking, subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. But until next time, stay hooked on actions. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.